Wendy Richter. I'm gonna fuck you up.
We want Mina.
Mamacita.
Thank you, Trish.
I am Medusa, always have been Medusa, and always will be Medusa.
That too? It was gonna come out anyway.
I break bitches.
Call me Diva. Give me my last man standing match between Willow and Mox. No, you cowards! That's good to get out. We're back to an old favorite because the fight has been reignited this week, sickos. Also, cowards is not necessary, but it really rounds out the sentence once you get it out of your mouth. Yeah! What's up, sickos? It's me, your absolutely unhinged host, Bex Bastet, and this is Don't Call Me Diva, where we talk only women's wrestling. I run down the weekly matches of AEW and ROH, and we learn about the wrestlers who face them. I discuss lore. I make up lore. We fantasy book. We waffle off on tangents, come back around, make up songs, and that's the Don't Call Me Diva promise, sickos. It's episode 12 of the show. If you need more info on moi and why we are here, please go check out episode 1. Episode 12. So hi, welcome. Sit down and get comfortable while I take you on a journey through the amazing world of women's wrestling. In the news this week, happy birthday to Dakota Kai. Happy birthday to being released by WWE. Apparently, there are some internet rumors that are convinced that Kai is heading our way to AEW. I don't like to get too confident in this kind of thing until they actually debut, but you all know how much I want this. Apparently, she was in talks with AEW the first time the Wobbly Republic got rid of her. So that's this could be really good. Also, happy birthday to the one and the only Queen Aminata. And oh no, oh dear, people. Let's all take a moment to mourn the loss of Mercedes Moné and her New Japan Strong Women's Championship loss, which, as you know, also takes away one of her boats. No more 4 boats Moné. She is now just 3. She lost the bout to Azumi at the recent pay-per-view by New Japan called Resurgence, which was in Ontario, which I thought meant Canada, but actually meant California. Which makes a lot of sense because they have the dojo in LA. But that was a great pay-per-view. Lots of shenanigans happened. In the match with Moné was Mina Shirakawa as well, and those two did not leave on good terms at all. Moné was screaming at Mina on the mat and blaming her for causing Mercedes to lose her title. Of course, she would have done this exact same thing to Azumi if Mina had won the title. We've seen how the TBS champion handles cracks in her perfection. Ooh, she does not like it at all when we see those cracks and usually tries hard to smooth them over and pretend it never happened. But you cannot delusion a belt loss unless she paper mache's ones. But I don't think she's going to go that crazy. I would not be surprised if Moné and Mina feuding over this whole shenanigans actually. But congratulations, Azumi! Yay, congratulations. Bea Priestley made a surprise appearance at Resurgence. She announced that her 90 days were up from the Wubbly Rubbly and had a match against Viva Van, who we've talked about before on Don't Gotta Me Diva. B has a bright pink streak in the front of her hair, the same gorgeous hue as La Catarina. Have I mentally already made up a tag team based off this comparison? You know me. Of course I have. Mariah May posted a series of very sweet photos of her and the one and only Queen Amanada. And that's it. I just wanted to tell you all that exists. So go look at it if you ever feel blue. Because there's, oh, heartwoman. As I am writing this, my mind, of course, instantly jumps to the idea of Queen Amanada and May being a tag team, but also being in the Hurt Syndicate. I've talked heaps about how I think, Queen Amanada would fit perfectly in the Hurt Syndicate. But I'm just here to say that so would Mariah May. She loves to hurt people. Chick. Looks like $1 million. Chick. Confidence. Chick. It weighs itself, really. Sky Blue is back. She was out with a bitch of an injury. Ooh, and I feel like we'll be seeing a more advanced Blue despite the injury absence. We get a lovely little promo of her later on. It's very exciting. So I'm very interested to see what kind of danger Sky Blue brings to the situation. She has herself a nice little dangerous moniker that we will debut later on. We also, speaking of being confirmationed, whatever that means, Tekla. Apologies, Toxic Spider, for the horrendous pronunciation earlier on. Shows me, up for not checking it. I apologize. But yes, Tekla is actually joining the AEW roster. So in this episode, at the end, we are going to have a chat about this very awesome wrestler and get to know her. Tekla has technically been on ROH Honor Club before when Athena was in Japan, right, for her World Domination Tour, which, since I mention it, complete sideway, but bands like promotions and the like calling world tours like world tours when all they do is like flippity flappity about the Northern Hemisphere is horrendously infuriating. Anyone else feel that? Anyway, moving on. They broadcast Athena versus Tekla on episode 99 of Honor Club, and it's a bloody good one. So they already have some sort of background backlash between the two. That's going to be good because, as we discuss, and if you're not aware, Tekla has hard hitting moves, and Athena loves to fucking take some fights. So that would be exciting. But anyway, who knows? I think Tekla would even be awesome against our girl Julia Hart. That was one of my first thoughts after the announcement was made official. By the way, adorable little spider. If I go over here, pretend I'm a little spider. Fucking lunatic. Came crawling down across the AEW logo on Dynamite, and it was very exciting. So, speaking of Dynamite, bring the boom, shake your boobs, it's Dynamite. We are in Detroit, Michigan. By the way, you were all wonderful. Absolute brilliant crowd. Give yourselves a standing ovation. It was a brilliant venue. It had many entrances and tunnels for shenanigans. We can still have fire as well. So your girls, please. So thank you, Detroit, for the whole package. Where we slide in, Anna Jay and Harley Cameron are having a good little pep talk in the most fanciest backstage area of all AEW history. Another brilliant tick in the venue box. I gotta say, it gives the segments, a bit of extra something when they're not just in the normal hallway with, stuff. Anywho, Harley and Anna complement each other perfectly, both in black, Anna in a two-piece battle attire, and Harley in her biker girl chic. Anna's soft curls against Harley's straight high ponytail. And his grip on reality, harmonizing perfectly with Harley's own unique worldview. Both women look gorgeous, and Anna seemed very focused on the upcoming four-way, which is good because it's going to be a tough one. I love this pairing. I know, like, at the moment, I've just been like, oh, these guys are together. I love them. Oh, these guys are together. I love them. Hey, what can I say? T and A is such a perfect name for them, but also it's probably extremely unavailable. It's so inappropriate, but at the same time, it'd be great. I came up with that curves and violence as well. The curves of violence. Very disgustingly, my brain came up with claps and slaps, and I am not going to explain that one at all. Pretty dangerous, big and bouncy, badasses. Just some names thrown out there. Harley is freaking brilliant with her promo. And when Anna J asks who wants to get choked, her hand like flies up immediately and it freaking kills me. Harley makes everyone shine around her without ever dulling her own sparkle. And Anna J jumps aboard the Cameron pony ride and they gallop off to the go position. Oh, it's brilliant. And Harley leaves her there. She doesn't come out to the ring with Anna Jay. So, it's good. Good. Because, as we will find out, a four-way is, no DQ. Our first women's match is this four-way. It is between the world champion, Timeless Tony Storm, Thunder Rosa, Penelope Ford, and our sweet Anna Jay. In this match, the winner gets to face Timeless for the world title in an upcoming match. Could be any time. Tony doesn't need to be pinned for this to occur. But if she wins the match herself, then none of you get a title shot. So pretty cheeky of her going in there, but it's the fight that she wants and the enhancement, and I'm here for it. Another thing I'm here for. And now, the world goes gray, but it's rainbows in our hearts, because it's time for Timeless Tony Storm. As soon as her music hits, the crowd erupts with cheers and gives our world champion an appropriate standing ovation. See? Detroit! I hope you all brought yourself a treat after this. You fucking deserved it. Timeless is without Luther, also not bringing, a sidekick to the ring, keeping it kosher. Kosher? Yeah. And wearing a 50s era cape of the old school wrestler style, a two-piece battle suit of black bikini top and red and white tartan high waists for the bottoms. Our world champion has her world title around her waist. Total sidebar. I really, really love it when champions wear their belts, like around their waist. If you only ever see a champion walking around with it like over their waist or something, or God forbid, around their neck, I'm like, yo, wear a fucking belt. Tony wears the belt all the time. Moving on. A respectful wiping of the boots, as is tradition before stepping through the ropes, and our world champion takes her place at the center of the ring. Thunder Rosa is out next, and I freaking love hearing her music through the headphones. Oh, the bass is so heavy, and it freaking slaps, and every time I'm just like, it's such a good wrestling fucking entrance. Just gets you pumped. Thunder Rosa is here, and we have fire erupting behind her, and she power poses on the entrance, and it's Thunder is in her stone cold soft balls street fight gear, and her long hair is in the double braids. Thunder Rosa gives a drive-by high five to literally everybody ringside and gives us the double horns before getting in the ring. Yes, it's double horn. Moving on. The world champion is also a big fan of Rosa, and I am now. this last 8 months has really turned me around on Rosa, and I love it when I can have an opportunity to change my mind for a good, and not because someone has turned out to be an asshole. It's always a good time. Cause yeah, I've been open from the beginning that like I haven't been, on the Thunder train to be honest, but I'm on there now. Woo! Exactly. I've got like fucking year pass. Thunder Tits unites again for a hug in the ring while the guitar slides down, signaling the incoming super bad girl, Penelope Ford. Ford's music is a bop. The bass and the drums rumble through the speakers in the arena as Penelope stands at the entrance ramp alone. Mind you, alone. Adorned in her amazing black hooded fluffy jacket, which I need new giant shades, which I freaking love. Ford is in her red, orange, and black battle gear this evening, and she will definitely be the odd one out in this match because she's the only baddie. Everyone else is pretty good. Penelope Ford, on her own or in cahoots with Bane, has also messed with every single wrestler in this four-way. So Penelope to win this would be quite the feat. You hearing that, Missy? If you win this, whew, you definitely deserve a prize. Without the help of Bane, mind you, madame. Though it's a four-way, meaning that there is no DQ. Anyone can interfere with this match, and the ref can do nothing to stop it apart from informing them that it was quite rude, unfair, and perhaps they may consider not. Penelope makes her grand entrance into the ring, and she hits us with that awesome ring post that I love. She gets all like pulling and like, and MJ's music hits, and she stomps to the entrance stage. Whoa, she is not freaking around, wasting no time at all. She continues down to the ring and walks confidently straight up the ring steps and into the ring. Anna comes out in a very cool long black ring jacket with buckles and straps and sparkles. Anna hits her pose in the middle of the ring, and the other wrestlers give her the respect. And they don't jump her. Like I said, most of them would be good anyway. The only one who really needs, an eye kept on her is Penelope, if we are all honest. I'm honest about your love. The wrestlers are in each corner as the ref calls for the bell. Okay, so we're starting off without chaos, okay? Anna Jay and Penelope Ford go straight for one another and start exchanging blows. Anna beats Penelope down into the corner while Timeless and Thunder are a bit perplexed as to what to do right now. Thunder Tits don't seem too keen on engaging in fisticuffs at this moment. Anna stomps Ford out of the ring and throws her into the barricade, while back in the ring it seems like Thunder Tits have come to a battle arrangement and engage in some just wrestling. Thunder Rosa and Storm are testing each other's skills in the ring, while it looks like the super bad girl has the upper hand on Jay now on the outside. Anna gets a painful introduction to the ring steps, and Thunder gets the first pin attempt after one of her brutal shotgun drop kicks. Kicks timeless. Kicks timeless. Penelope catches on that a pin is happening in the ring, and she rolls into it and bulldozes through Thunder Rosa's pin, breaking it up before 3. Tony has to roll herself out of the ring to deal with the damage from Thunder Rosa's dropkick. And Penelope takes on Thunder in the ring. Smart. Anna Jay is still feeling the effects of the beat down into the stairs, so she's nowhere to be seen. Some quick footwork gets Penelope down for a pin, but she is out of it by 2. Thunder body slams Ford to the mat, but takes way too long this early into the match to gather power from the crowd. And when she comes back from the ropes to splash down on Ford, the super bad girl rolls out of the way and Thunder splats down onto the mat. She should have known. Thunder still manages to get up and yell, "Come on!" at Penelope, and Ford takes her on, landing a Cazadora into a roll through, sending Thunder into the ropes. Penelope definitely came on. Ooh, Don't like that phrasing. Penelope shoots off the ropes and missile drop kicks Rosa between the shoulders. It seems to be a battle of the drop kicks. Ford rolls Rosa over and goes for a pin, but is denied when Anna scoots in and breaks it up at 2. Anna manhandles Penelope through the ropes with Ford stumbling into them as she is dragged by Jay. I bet that hurt. Anna takes every advantage of the no DQ and deals damage to Ford while she is between the ropes. Betwixt, you might say. Anna cracks Ford with a high kick, her long, powerful legs connecting with Ford's chest in a mighty thunk. Jay twists Penelope around for a neck breaker, made worse by use of the middle ropes, and Penelope is catapulted back into the ring. And Anna brings her down the mat for a pin. Very wise. The pin is broken up by our timeless world champion, who boots Anna Jay in the back. The crowd have been hot for this match, and why wouldn't they? And they get behind every whack from the champ. Toni Storm whips Anna Jay over for a spectacular fisherman suplex. Timeless stretches onto her tootsies and locks her hands together, bringing Anna's knees close to her own face, laid out for the pin, and then girl, Penelope just walks up to Storm, over here, by the way, Jesus, and boots her mercilessly in the vagina, breaking up the pin in a creative yet dastardly way. The crowd ran down boos upon Ford, who is not at all bothered and, in fact, quite proud of herself. The super bad girl turns her attention to Anna Jay, and a quick pan of the arena comes up with no sign of Thunder Rosa. We do see a tender world champion delicately roll out of the ring onto the floor to try and get some bearing on the situation through the pain of her throbbing punani. But Toni Storm is not given any amount of time to recover as Anna Jay gets thrown out of the ring in front of the timeless world champion, and then both of them become the landing pad for a flying Penelope Ford, who takes them both out with a beautiful standing moonsault off the apron. Ford lands on her feet and takes a moment to chillax against the barricade like it just ain't no thing. As we pan out to a wider shot, we see Thunder Rosa is climbing the ropes. It seems she has plans to crash down upon her fellow competitors. We can see Penelope has grabbed Timeless and Anna by the heads to drag them back into the ring, but exhaustion takes her over and she hunches down under the weight of dragging Anna and Storm. Perfectly huddled, though. They have no idea that Thunder is coming down upon them with a lovely tornado until it is too late. All three women crumble to the ground as Thunder Rosa jumps to her feet. I was about to say Anna Jay for a second. Jumps to her feet with a battle cry. Cheer slap of satisfaction. The crowd are on their feet in standing ovation to the mera. I almost called it a wera. Not that one. Thunder Rosa takes Anna Jay by the head, and this time Jay is introduced to the other steel steps. Rosa bounces Jay's head off the top of those stairs like she is personally insulted by her. Wasn't necessary, but while the crowd chants Thunder Rosa, Michigan, have I told you lately how much I love you? Platonically as a crowd, but it's there. Our world champion came to a truce, and they pair off with Timeless taking Jay and Thunder taking Ford. Anna goes face first into the barricade by Toni, but Ford has managed to turn the tables on Rosa, and she slaps her hard with a chop to the chest. Thunder is very smart and stumbles over to Toni, who takes time out from chopping Jay to turn her attentions onto Ford, saving Rosa. Thunder brings Anna to a stop with a hard chop and then goes to join our world champion. They team up on you-know-who. Timeless brings Ford back into the ring and punishes Ford with a stern backbreaker, holding Penelope in place on her knee while Thunder runs off the ropes and drops a leg across Ford's throat. Thunder goes to capitalize on this with a pin, but it seems like the world champion has no interest in just allowing Rosa to win in front of her like this and drags her by the leg off forward and breaks the pin. Now, Thunder is truly caught off guard by this, but gets the timeless one back by dragging her foot off forward by the leg when she goes to pin forward in front of her. Thunder Rosa states, "No, you are the champion and I want to be the champion," which she has stated very clearly many times. But the world champion is in fighting mode, not friend mode, and send Rosa out of the ring. Tony's old school bag of tricks keeps growing fuller as she crushes Penelope Ford's head betwixt her voluptuous thighs in a head scissors of brutality. Thunder Rosa comes back into the ring and thinks, "Oh, this looks like a bit of me." And despite our world champion doing her best to talk Rosa out of it, Thunder puts the timeless one in a head scissors of her own. Rosa squeezes with all of her might and screams at the ref while the crowd roar with excitement. I have no idea what she was screaming at the ref, but she was getting it out. Anna Jay comes into the ring, adjusts the battle gear, grabs Penelope's legs that have been kicking around, flailing, trying to get out of this predicament. What is Anna Jay planning to do with Penelope's legs? Well, it seems Penelope was not going to be the only one suffering from Anna Jay's involvement in this submission centipede. Using the scientific method of roly-roly, Anna Jay tips the three wrestlers over onto their stomachs, so now all of them are in a submission, with Penelope having extra painful fun times of the added Boston crab onto her legs, well, and lower back. And Anna Jay sits her fat ass with a PH down deep onto that Boston crab, testing out the flexibility of Ford's spine, which is flexible, but everyone's got a limit. Penelope uses her only free limb and she reaches around behind her and drags her nails right down Anna Jay's back. This does end up working, and Anna releases Ford's legs and subsequently collapses the entire submission train while the crowd start dueling it out. Thunder, Rosa, and Anna Jay start slugging it out in the center of the ring while our world champion and the super bad girl take a moment to recover in their separate corners. Both of them were uterus deep in those submissions, and it was taking a toll. Anna Jay and Thunder Rosa lay in some spicy chops to each other's chest. Stop, give one another a look, and then sprint to opposite ropes. They collide together in the middle of the ring with running lariats, and both women are knocked down onto the mat. Everyone is down. The crowd cheer, and our world champion gets to her feet. Penelope is up too, ready to face off against the timeless one. As both Rosa and Jay roll under the ropes to the uncertain safety of the apron, it's about a 50-50. Toni Storm and Penelope Ford start exchanging heavy forearms, each shot getting heavier until our world champion gets in a quick consecutive second shot that puts her on a roll. Consecutive forearms from Timeless makes the crowd very happy, and she feeds Ford more meaty forearm sandwiches. Ford lets out a battle cry and tries to come back at Storm, but gets yoinked and sent over the world champion's head in a snappy suplex. Before Toni Storm can capitalize on this, though, Thunder comes in with a flying knee that sends the champion noping the fook out of here. This has been such a fun four-way so far. You can just tell by how flustered I am. Everyone is trying to win at all costs, yet the champion seems to be working the most out of everyone to win this match, so she can put more time between now and these three badass wrestlers coming for her title. She knows how bad they are, and she's like, I don't want this. I don't want none of this. Toni Storm knows they are all capable and wants to protect her championship. It's fine. It's a great way to build up the title's importance and depth of the Raw fighting for it, in my opinion. And why wouldn't she want to keep her title? Like, what kind of crazy champion just wants to be like, oh, yeah, like, if you win, that's okay. Crazy. It's now just Thunder Rosa and Anna Jay in the ring. Thunder sends Jay into the ropes, but Anna comes back with a pump kick that ends Thunder Rosa's momentum temporarily. Anna is still not 100% and forgets how important a quick pin is in this situation and takes a moment to gather herself. Once gathered, herself was like, yo, title shot, pin Rosa, and she quickly goes to pin the former world champion, but it's way too late, and Thunder Rosa kicks out of the pin by 2. Anna Jay finds herself unceremoniously yoinked out of the ring by her tights, and the super bad girl pulls Anna down to the ground. Penelope tries to get the upper hand on the situation, but Anna Jay blocks Ford's forearm, hits her with one of her own, and then snaps Penelope over for like a sharp suplex, whipping Penelope back onto the floor. Well, almost into it as well, like an imprint. Anna Jay did a gorgeous suplex here, and Penelope landed as flat as a board on her back. The sound it made was loud, and it was a thing of beauty. Thunder Rosa comes zooming in at Jay with a dropkick through the ropes, but Anna quickly avoids it. Doesn't avoid the kick to the womb, followed quickly by the DDT, though, planting Anna Jay's face flat into the floor. Now that was planted. Everyone is now out on the floor. Or are they? It seems our super bad girl has recovered some stamina and is climbing the ropes to the top. What on earth is she doing up there? The wrestlers are on the ground and are trying to get, and move around, but they should have all just stayed the fuck down, because Penelope, once they were all up and, it was smushed, landed a perfect flying moonsault, which apparently is immemorial, given the name an Orihara moonsault, which I explain here. An Orihara moonsault is a moonsault specifically off the top rope onto your opponents on the floor. And also sometimes your own teammate, to be honest, on the outside. Hey, you're going to make more squish. Masao. Orihara was the first known wrestler to do it. Known to do it. Hence the name. And it is in honor of the man. Although probably won't be hearing that term too often, but it's a nice little bit of information, especially since AEW are working with New Japan so much now. Just put that in there. Moving on. Penelope chooses Anna to throw back into the ring. Anna Jay goes to the corner and she is still having a tough time standing. Ford does a neat little ninja roll to the opposite corner, and as the crowd chant, "This is awesome, damn Skippy, Michigan. Love ya." Penelope lines Jay up and attempts her powerful handspring back elbow, but Anna's eyes focus in time to sidestep the impact and land a high back kick to Ford, then pinning her in the corner with her body. Anna sees the world champion is barreling down upon her, and I thought, honestly, for a split second, Anna would avoid the incoming splash, but Anna took it all, becoming the filling between the Ford and Storm sandwich. Both Anna Jay and Penelope Ford collapse to the mat, still propped up by the corner. It's the only thing keeping them up. Our world champion, Timeless Tony Storm, legs it to the opposite corner quickly. A quick smack of the bootay, and Tony Storm storms into Anna and Penelope, hitting both of them with a fabulous hip attack. It is not over yet, though, as Thunder Tits combine and Timeless takes on the role as springboard to Thunder Rosa's shotgun dropkick. I'll say it again. Thunder Rosa's dropkicks are some of the best in the biz. We see that it is only Penelope that gets taken out by Thunder Rosa's dropkick meant for 2, as Anna Jay has managed to roll out of the way before impact. Ford took a dropkick meant for 2. She is out. Thunder Tits combine again and in form of suplex, but Ford is not as out as I thought and blocks the suplex. She is on her tippy toes and they might get her over, but something has happened and Thunder Tits drops Penelope to address the situation forming in front of them. It turns out something or someone that is on their way, and that someone is a Megan Bain. The crowd boo and rightly so. But to be fair, it has almost been 11 minutes into a four-way, and we have had zero fuckery until now. So you got to give Bane some grace for not like barging in sooner. Bane walks straight into the ring, pump kicks Rosa, rams through the world champion with a lariat, and battle roars at the booing crowd, then lures in Thunder Rosa for a flying lariat that demolishes her. Ooh, not laughing at you, Thunder. Ooh. The ref attempts to get Bane out of the ring, but it's with words, and words are easily ignored by the Megasis. A Hurt and a Jay has come back into the ring. He squares up to the Megasis, not caring about the multiple disadvantages Jay has just by being hurt, compared to Bane's like just waltzing in fresh as a daisy. Anna locks eyes with Megan and will not be intimidated in her own world title eliminator match. No, thank you. Bane, you had your chance, Missy, and now it is not yours. A counter from Bane gets Anna up onto her shoulders for a faint descent, but Jay engages kicky feet and gets out of Bane's grasp. Anna clocks Bane with a few stiff forearms, but suddenly gets hit from behind as Ford has got him back to her feet, and now Jay finds herself surrounded. Jay's fire, though, sends a stiff forearm straight through Penelope. Jay turns around to face Bane and gets knocked to the mat with a strong lariat from the Megasis that just stops Anna completely. Ooh, it would stop a train. Bane is not done. She pulls Jay to her feet by her hair, rude, hoists her up and drops her from the clouds with a heavy-hitting powerbomb that sent Jay to the center of the earth, figuratively. Suddenly, the winds change and the cheers erupt from the crowd. Her ponytail is bouncing to the ring with determination and no fear as Harley flies into the ring to deal with this dastardly Bane. Megan Bane turns around and Harley's like, yeah, bitch, bring it. And Bane does try, but Cameron sidesteps the pump kick and clotheslines the Megasis right over the top rope and out of the ring. Holy flying fraggles, people. The crowd are on their feet and they are going Harley single-handedly powered Bane out of the frickin' ring. She hadn't even utilized the lead pipe yet. If this was a over-the-match type of eliminator, she would have been a woo! Bane pulls Harley out by her boots, but Harley still gets the upper hand over Bane and jabs her in the stomach with the lead pipe. Cameron whacks Megan on the back with the pipe, and Bane starts walking up the ramp. It seems Harley with the lead pipe is a bit more than what she can be fooked with. Harley gets the Megasis one more time and even utilizes a slip to try and take out Megan Bane's legs. And that is it for Bane. Megan walks straight to the back and Harley is quickly followed by her. We had a little jokey like on the couch about how like, you know, we love her, but it would be fucking funny if like all of a sudden like you just saw like Harley just go Wah! And like fly from like one side of the entrance to the other, you know, by a kick. But anyway, moving on. We focus back on the ring, and Penelope Ford has Anna Jay in the Muda lock, dead center in the ring with a mind full of years of wrestling. We saw the Super Bad Girl in her perfect bridge, and we're like, oh honey, we could just see this coming, because with a mind full of years of wrestling is about us. That puss punt from earlier is going to collect on its debt right now. And right on time, the curious world champion herself comes into the ring and circles the entanglement of wrestlers. Now, this is a beautiful Muda lock on a look that Penelope has here, but she's fooked. The crowd are still going bananas because they can see what's going to happen as Timeless eyes up her target. Penelope's nunny gets quite the stomp, and the pain is not over. For the Timeless one, wraps her strong limbs around Ford, locking her into the TCM chicken wing with the body scissors. Anna has somehow rolled out of the ring from the Muda lock, which is fair because she was in it for a while. Thunder is still out somewhere, must be on the floor. Penelope and Tony Storm are in the center of the frickin' ring. Penelope has little to no option but to tap out. Our world champion, Timeless Tony Storm, has won the match by submission at about 13-ish minutes. Long gone, people, are the 3-minute matches, and it is such a joy. Jesus. Anyone out there who is still giving you 3-minute women's matches are not where it's at for women's wrestling or wrestling in general, to be for real, because if you're not pushing your women's division this year, you will be left in the dust by the time 2026 comes rolling around, just so you know. The crowd give our world champion a standing ovation at a match well fought. Thunder Rosa gets into the ring and Thunder Tits unite again. As they celebrate in the ring, Penelope Ford slowly rolls her broken bod out of the ring, and Anna Jay, dazed on the floor, realizes that her chance is now lost. For now, though, I am positive Jay will be back in the title hunt soon. Don't worry, Jay. Your time will come. Maybe some tag championships with a certain Holly. Yo. That match was excellent and told a fabulous story inside the ring and extended storylines like outside of the ring as well. I really like this idea of a four-way for the title shot, as it gets a lot of wrestlers mixed up in like matches, and you might not normally have them together, and then voila, you've got like ongoing storyline for like something on, some fuckery and shit. Like, yo, I'm down. Next, Mother Wayne, in a fabulous white pantsuit, appropriately sparkled, comes out with the patriarchy, interrupting her son Nick's entrance. And at the end of the match, things did not end in a happy family despite Wayne winning his match. Mother Wayne, what are you doing, honey? Your family is crumbling in front of you. But this is not my problem. After some excellent shenanigans from the menfolk, we get graced by the remarkable presence of Renee Paquette, all soft and baby pink jacket with white shirt. The one with the cool gold little chains off the collar we've spoken about before. She is interviewing the bruv, who gets interrupted by a very angry, sweaty man. They yell, "We move on." In a gorgeous setting of brown leather chairs, a wooden banister, and potted ferns, an equally gorgeous Jamie Hayter sits in a brown and orange 70s inspired look, complemented by a large pair of sunglasses. In my books, you may have picked up, a large pair of sunglasses is the only pair of sunglasses that matter to moi. I don't know why I'm getting all fancy. It's because the environment is so fancy. Hayter eloquently describes her impending disruption of the TBS champions' plans for the world title gold after her loss to Azumi. Mercedes is going to be pissed when she loses to Hayter at Double or Nothing, May 25th. YOSH! All of a sudden, a wild CEO comes out of nowhere and attacks Hayter from behind. The brawl through the venue is on. They break out onto one of those, private boothy, fancy thingamabobbies that, fancy people sit in to watch the shows. And Hayter tips Mercedes over the side of it. For a second, I was like, whoa! But it wasn't actually that far. And the fall I had expected was not that bad. Mercedes is now, though, looking for an exit out of this plan, as things are not going her way. He is not very good at this ambushing the Hayter thing. Hayter catches her on the entrance ramp, but Monet is able to duck the Haterade. Whew. She scampers to the back and into the depths, into safety. Or has she? It's a ruse, people, because Mercedes flies back out while Hayter's back is turned and she knocks her down to the floor. Mercedes gets Hayter in the statement maker and she pulls back hard on Jamie Hayter's neck, finally letting go while her music blasts through the venue. Mercedes caresses the Owen Cup while staring intently down at Hayter. It seems she may have already slightly lost it, people. I legit think she's like scared of Jamie Hayter, and as she should. And like I said, she then went on to lose her title. So like her confidence is going to be like, blah, 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 blah. Down the drain. We fade out to the back where Alicia Atu is looking fabulous wearing a black halter neck top. She is interviewing the hero of the locker room, Willow. Willow's hair is free and she is wearing one of, well, not free for sale, it's free and out and wearing one of her Willow jackets. It's in like that blue that looks gorgeous on her. Alicia brings up her issues with the Death Riders, and Willow makes it clear that she wants to be the first to stick her fists in her faces. What's that? What's that I hear? A last man standing match between Willow and Mox? Well, that's a brilliant idea. Someone should absolutely book that. You're smart. Chris Statlander comes in to confront Willow. Chris is also in black. I'm just pointing that out. We're not going to get into it. She pairs it with a black bandana, and I know a few sickos out there that had a little bit of a moment with this one. Well, get a change of pants, people, and sit back down because Chris is determined to get Willow to talk to her. But Willow suggests a match instead. The sickos even get a call out from our favorite Willow. Hi, Willow. See, you are absolutely correct. We would definitely love to see this matchup. On Collision, these two former best friends will hopefully air it all out in the ring, and perhaps the friendship can either be reborn or respectfully left behind. All I can say is, lucky us, this match is going to hit hard and it's going to be emotional. We get one last interview from Alicia with the Hurt Syndicate and a little visit from Marina with the Death Riders at the end, but they get staunched out by Samoan Joseph and Powerhouse. So they don't do shit. They are, well, Mox is terrified of Powerhouse Hobbs. There are now two people that I can vouch that he is terrified of, which makes him a liar. This Dynamite was pumped from minute one. The crowd are fantastic. The matches have been top tier. Stories are progressing all over the place. The venue is great and we have fire. I am a happy gal and I cannot wait to get to Collision. So since it is on the next night, let's go straight there. Collision. We are still in Detroit, Michigan, and night 2 crowd is just as pumped. And why wouldn't be? The world has gone grey, but there is a rainbow in our hearts because the world champion, Timeless Toady Storm, is here. But wherefore art thou is our champion? A spotlight lights up on one of those boothy thingies, and Timeless does a Don't Call Me Diva special. And pops up into the frame in all of her victory road pinup and pearls glory. Timeless delivers an inspiring and impassioned speech stacked to the tits with sexual innuendo and a promise to keep fighting no matter what. So next week we might be getting some more four-way action. My, aren't we spoilt little wrestling fans? As Timeless retreats back from whence she came, we fade out to Lexinia, who is looking lovely in a red dress with perhaps pink flowers. We're going to go with pink. Leaves, but they might. Anyway, I'm unsure, but it does look wonderful on her. Lexi is getting the goss from the Paragon, who used to be the Undisputed Arab and now the Paragoon. The grizzled young veterans interrupt this interview, and that is our cue to get the folk out of here. Not women's wrestling at all, but sidebar, Angelico faces Ricochet, and this is awesome for like two reasons, because one, fabulous match, both wrestlers are oozing talented. Two, Serpentico. Moving on. After Bishop Khan crucifix bombs Brian Bad Apple Keith through two tables, we get a promo package between Anna Jay and Megan Bain. Both women are confident and ready to beat the living crap out of each other. But it seems that a tussle between Megan and Harley is going to be coming up our way next instead. I say eep, but I also say yosh. It's time, sickos! Willow's music hits, and we are ready for this clash between our hero of the locker room and the muscle, Chris Statlander. Chris is already in the ring in her green and grey battle gear. There was something fucked up with the entrance there, which I think is rude, but never mind. So we don't get to see her entrance, but Willow comes out to cheers from the fans, and she is as happy as a clam, as is tradition. Willow is in her blue battle gear, as you can see over there. No, yeah, there. No, yeah. Willow is in a and her Willow branded jacket. There is a party going on in Michigan, and I am here for it. As soon as the bell rings, everything changes, though, and the expression on both wrestlers gets very serious as they circle one another. I feel like this is going to be very therapeutic for our Willow Nightingale to get this stress from, when Stat, her bestie, turned on her and tried to take her out. They then had like a vicious Chicago street fight that, at last year's All Out, which Chris won. And then things went just cold between the two wrestlers. Like that match took away way more than just their friendship. I don't know, honestly, if this can be resolved, but I do hope that there is closure. Now, I'm a fan of Stat, but I have to be on Willow's side here when it comes to Chris having a change of heart and wanting Willow to have a change of heart because she has like stepped up and apologized to her. I'm like, you can't just expect that, right? You can apologize, do better in the future, and all that great growth stuff. Do all of that. But that in no way means that the person that you wronged gets all of their feelings about the situation just swept away by the power of your apology. Like your words don't just like floosh through them like a waterfall and then out the bottom you just like piss out all of your feelings about the situation. That doesn't happen. So you should not have the expectation of this either. Okay, and you should allow the one you hurt to heal their way. And speaking of things that you will need to heal from, the two wrestlers start grappling with each other until Willow slips out of the side headlock with a power move and shoves Chris off her. Stat grabbing Willow's tights really pisses her off, and when she confronts her about it, Chris just runs at her and locks in a waist lock. Sweet little standing switch from Willow puts her in control, and then she once again uses her power and slams Chris to the mat. Chris is getting mad and becomes madder after a sassy little boot from Willow to Stat's nose. It was childish, but I can see why she'd want to. But like, holy flying fraggles people again, I want to say this quietly in case, she comes after me. But, coming close, but Stat slapped the living shit out of Willow for that. It made me crawl into my hoodie like a turtle. Like, that was a nasty slap. Just from a playful, cheeky, sarcastic, but just from a playful little, like, boop. She slapped her face off. Okay, what she does next makes me also question Statlander's motives, okay? With this apology bollocks, because, like, she right out mocks Willow next. Like, right out mocks. Doing her cute little, like, body slam off the ropes into the cover and then taking the piss out of, like, her smiley nature. Like, how, like, Willow comes off and, like, puts her hand, like, under her chin and she's all like, yeah, hi, I'm, like, sweet and doing a pin. Like, we love it. Like, she took the piss out of that. And then afterwards she's all like, I have dimples and I'm so smiley. Like, hello, Chris is currently on the sus bus right now and she has no one to blame but herself. She can go and sit next to Hologram and think about what her true intentions are, because I ain't buying this, Missy. And until then, that's where you stay. Willow slaps the sass right out of Stat's face, and you know that hurt. That slap echoed through the venue. Stat served up a chop back to Willow, but the chop she gets in return made my face go back into my skull. Willow let that one loose, and I almost wanted to go back into my hoodie again like a turtle. A violent exchange of 50 cuffs. 50 cuffs? A violent exchange of 50 fisticuffs ensues between them until Willow gets a few consecutive forearms and then knocks Stat down with a step up into Gary. Willow is channeling her anger, and takes Chris, my apologies, on a tour of all four corners of the ring, introducing her to the matriarch turnbuckle of each one by slamming her face into them, as is tradition. A pump kick sends Chris flying, and Willow looks like she's getting a lot out of her system here. A miscalculated whip to the rope allows Chris to counter Willow's plan and rolls her up for a pin, but Stat is denied at 2. Chris gets to her feet before Willow can, and she roundhouse kicks a kneeling Willow, who crumbles into perfect pinning position, and Chris goes again for the win, but is denied. Chris stands Willow up and uses her as a punching bag for a bit before attempting to backslide her into a pin, which sounds a bit saucy, and gets reversed by Willow, and now Chris has to kick out. Mwaha. Once again, Chris gets up off the mat quicker and rolls Willow into another pin. This one is a lot more smushed. Willow still kicks out at 2, and we get a series of counter rollies into pins until it becomes clear that this strategy is not working, and we get a return to the exchange of 50 fisticuffs. Chris turns the tides and knocks Willow down to the mat with a back elbow. We get a gun show as penance, but I am not taking it. You are still on that bus, Missy. She goes for the cover, but the gun show really wasted time. And Willow kicks out at 2. Not so much hot dogging, Missy. Chris gets the crowd behind her, and she goes to run the ropes for momentum. But instead of whatever her plan was, Willow springs into action and pounces on Stat, sending her flying and rolling out of the ring onto the floor. The crowd get to their feet in standing ovation for Willow, and the crowd start chanting her name as she gets out onto the apron. What is her plans? Chris comes stumbling around the ring, and Willow takes flight, barreling through her with a cannonball. She lands hard, but the crowd are still chanting her name, and Willow grabs hold of that power. A few high fives to the fans, and a hyped up Willow attempts to suplex Chris on the outside, but it is Willow who gets suplexed, and they both feel the pain coursing through their bodies from the impact onto the floor. The ref seems to be trying to count them out, which is rude, but Stat manages to break the count by 7. Willow also rolls in, but both wrestlers assume back onto the outside once that count has been broken. Willow should have actually stayed in that ring, though, because Chris gets her again with another suplex onto the floor, and this looked heavier than the first one. Stat is very happy with herself. It seems her competitive spirit is clouding the original intentions of apology, or have apologies just been completely thrown out the window now? There is no, is there no saving this form of friendship? Stat tells us she wanted a fight. So she, meaning Willow, wanted a fight. So we're gonna fight. Yo, you turned on her, Stat. You attacked Willow from behind. You chose Stokely over her and blamed Willow for all of your shortcomings. If I was Willow, I'd be like, bitch, live your life, but I ain't in it. Stat, delusional thinking, loosen the bandana. You might be able to get some blood to your brain, because I think you have this a little bit, scrambled, woman. Anyone else who has had a good friend turn on you, do you feel like Chris is trying to gaslight us here? Because I do. The ref is back to counting them out. And Chris throws Willow into the ring, and the count is broken. Willow is leaning in the definite non-safety of the corner, and Stat steam trains straight through her with a hefty body slam lariat combo. More punishment gets put onto Willow's back with a scoop slam from Stat, but then Chris tries for a cover, and this had to be a poking the bear kind of pin, because Willow was not out enough for a 3, and she kicks out at 2. A reversal from Willow sends Chris to the corner, and when Chris miscalculates Willow's intentions, she gets a clubbing blow from Willow to her upper back. Stat collapses in the corner. Willow drags her out and takes her down in the center of the ring with a Russian leg sweep. Keeping control of Stat's arm, Willow maneuvers her legs and gets Stat into a Greek cross submission, which is old-timey as fuck. I do this in part to get the names of what the women are actually doing in the ring out there. Meaning I do this show for that. So this kind of pressure is purely put onto myself and no one else. If the announcers don't call what the name is and I don't know what it is, then I have to go investigating and breaking it down and see if I can find out if there's a name. Now, whoever has been teaching the women's roster these submissions, I applaud you, sir and or madam, because no one right now is doing this one, especially in wrestling right now. I finally found out the name for the submission on an old poster that was uploaded to Pinterest, and then I worked backwards from there to double check it. With a name like Greek Cross, it wasn't easy to pin down. Not at all. She says sarcastic, I almost went cross-eyed myself trying to like get through the searches to try and find this. So bravo to me. I get a standing ovation. Thank you very much. Thank you. Speaking of making something work for you, when it looked like Stat was never going to tap out of this Greek cross, Willow adjusts her legs, just her leg, my apologies, and rolls Chris onto her shoulders. High onto her shoulders, though, and Chris strongly kicks out at 2. Chris then pump kicks Willow in the gut and snapmares her over, planting her on her butt. And then Chris wraps her mighty legs around Willow's waist, squeezing all the air out of her. As Willow tries to scramble out of it, both of her arms get caught by Stat, and now Chris also has Willow in a full Nelson. Willow doesn't give up and eventually frees an arm that allows her to nail Chris with some back elbows. Chris releases Willow's other arm and now she can get pummeled with both back elbows. And Stat finally lets go of the submission. Hot Muscle Babes Chop Fest 2025 resumes in the ring, and they are the hardest edition yet. It eventually turns into an exchange in forearms, and the two wrestlers continuously beat down on each other. As the broadcast is being brought back from its break that the other providers have to deal with, we don't have to deal with all that because we get the fun little picture-in-picture comedy, which is always a bit loosey-goosey. We get a fancy continuous panning shot that glides from where, I don't know where we were, swoops around the ring, and I am a big fan of the swoopy swoopies. Both wrestlers hit each other with fantastic German suplexes as we pan around the ring. They face each other and then both plow into each other with stiff shoulder tackles that stops both wrestlers in their tracks before they collapse on the mat, and we end in the corner of the ring with our beautiful band. The crowd is on their feet, and these two warriors try to suck in air. It's Willow who comes in on Chris, smushing her in the corner with a booty bash, if I'm honest. Willow misses with the lariat, though, as Chris ducks. Oh, she misses with the lariat, though, as Chris ducks and then plants Willow in the corner with a European uppercut. She's got a nasty European uppercut, like almost as nasty as Claudio's. As the crowd chant, "This is awesome," because they're smart, Chris runs into the turnbuckle and missile knees through Willow's face. Both of these women are powered up to the highest level because they start freaking countering each other with hard lariats and kicks to one another, and we are like 10 minutes deep into this rivalry battle. Jesus Christ. Stat avoids the pump kick from Willow, kicks up like it's nothing, and gives Willow a back kick to the face. Chris gives her space by running to the ropes, and this would end up helping Willow, who yoinks Stat up in a pop-up powerbomb. Willow folds her up for a pin, but an exhausted Chris can still kick out by 3. Like I said, we're over 10 minutes into this match. Willow clubs Stat with 9 forearms on the corner, but is denied a wound-up 10th by Stat ducking the blow. Chris Statlander and Willow engage in a violent dance, both spooked but passionate and filled with fire to win. Like I say, I think this friendship is like kaput, yo. Unable to land a move on Willow, Statlander goes for a pin. To get out of it, Willow turns it into a pin of her own, and Chris escapes it too. A thrust kick to the bod, followed by an axe kick to the back of the head from Stat, takes Willow off her feet, and she is back on the mat. Not hesitating this time, Chris quickly scrambles over to Willow for the cover, but Willow is still alive, and she can still kick out at 2. They are pulling out the heavy stuff now, and the moves that can win you a match but are stamina draining to pull off are just not getting the other opponent down. A Death Valley driver from Willow will not get her the win. She actually does take Chris to the corner so she can land some more stiff forearms. This doesn't go well as Chris counters Willow, and now Chris is dragging Willow up to the top rope. We witness an absolute thing of beauty next as Chris Statlander sends Willow and herself into the clouds and down onto the mat with an avalanche superplex of doom, which brings everyone to their feet and almost flips Stat inside out upon her landing. Both wrestlers get to their feet reasonably freaking quick after this heavy landing, though, and Chris attempts her deadly discus lariat, but instead winds herself up to receive a running clothesline from Willow with authority. The straps come down on Willow, and she is ready to end this. Willow successfully hits her powerful gut wrench powerbomb. She calls the babe with the powerbomb, but cannot go for the pin because the corpse of Stat just starts rolling itself out of the ring. What are you fucking doing here? Fucking Yuta has shown up, and that can only mean one thing. The boos intensify, and we shoot back to the ring, and Marina Shafir is committing attempted murder by strangulation, which, if we are honest, in AEW is tradition, but shh, don't tell the authorities. Marina has wrapped something around Willow's throat, and she is pulling tightly. Okay, so that something is a chain. Thank you, Mr. Shivone. Tis just a slight strangulation, though, as Marina let goes and cracks Willow in the ribs with a swift kick. Like, that kick was almost worse than the strangulation. The ref, who has been dealing with fucking Yuta, is like, hey, what's going on? And completely misses Marina's measuring, like, Willow's neck with a chain. Chris gets back into the ring, yoinks an out of it Willow, flips her upside down, nails her with a Saturday Night Fever. 1, 2, and a 3. Stat wins, y'all, but it's not a good one. With all this bullshit Stat pulled before and during the match, Willow is going to be even more done with her now, in my opinion. I don't think Stat even wants to be good anymore, to be honest. I think she wants to muscle up and beat chicks, get all dark and gothic with it, and let her demons loose. So, so what? That there is already a gothic muscle mammy out there, or mummy, I should say. Mammy. There are gothic muscle babes everywhere. More the merrier, I say. Not one gothic muscle babe is the same as the other. And if I were to ask me for my humble opinion, I'd say make me an army and have them raise hell on all the women's divisions everywhere. Not a good outcome. But in happier news, like we said, Sky Blue is back. She is healed from injury, and we get a fabulous promo building up her return next week in the Shikar of the Go. Sky Blue is back, and she's a violent little thing. So that's her new little tag. Girl got more tats too, and I am insanely excited for her return. Collision ends after Nigel kicks some ass, and we are rolling over onto the Ring of Honor, people. We have a proving ground match tonight, people, between our world television champion, Red Velvet, and Lainey Luck. I remember we talked about Luck before, but I think it was in brief mentioning in connection to another wrestler. But all of that is not coming to mind right now. Not important. Ashley Vox is back, but she is facing Deonna Purrazzo in a pure rules match. And see, I know future Bixie is going to be like flipped on this, but we're going to say it because, it's addressed as our first match in the tournament for the new pure title. The limit of 3 rope breaks for Vox might become a problem when it comes to facing the dangerous Prazo, though. She's not going to want to use those quickly. Speaking of problems, show fave Layla Gray is going to have one when she faces Marina Shafir. The graphics are familiar, but the booty shaking bass of this music isn't. Girl Layla Gray has her own ring entrance music, and it is a real dirty bop, and it suits Layla Gray perfectly. Layla is in her lavender gear and she is mesmerizing. It seems like her little problem is going to be coming up right now. Speaking of new music, Marina now has her own ring music, unless she had before, but this is new to me, so we're going on. And it slaps as well. I have to take a moment out of writing this to do some like finger dancing because it's insanely catchy during the choruses. Marina is dressed for battle business and she's also a barefoot fighter. And she's legit the only one who I don't get secondhand fear about stubbing a toe, because there is nothing on this earth, living or inanimate, that would dare to get in the way of her foot. Layla, you have a fight ahead of you, but whatever happens, you shall be the better wrestler because of it, my dear. Thank you. No code of honor in handshake form is done between them. And I literally thought this was an unbroken rule in Ring of Honor. I didn't think the bell could go bing, bing, bing until the handshake was done. But hey, I learned something new. Is this now unsanctioned? Unsanctioned by the handshake? Anywho, Layla is rightfully cautious about locking up with Marina because Shafir is judo dangerous, who is willing to give, who would be willing to give her a limb. No, but it must be done eventually. Layla finds herself in a spot of bother, but a quick thinking kick up into an arm drag gives her some space and she puts Shafir off balance. Gray back elbows Shafir and then flies at her from the middle rope, pulling Marina down to the mat. Unfortunately, bringing Marina down to the mat is like bringing her home, and Layla finds herself having to kick out of a pin. Marina congratulates Layla by kicking the living bollocks out of Gray. Another kick from Shafir gets Layla right in the left tit, and that is just not on, Miss Shafir. That shit hurts. You know where those... You did that deliberately. Layla tries hard to wrestle Marina. Fair, but Marina is just plain mean, and she flings Layla around the ring, purposely putting her off balance so Gray would stumble instead of getting her feet under her to counter an attack. This is rude. A few disrespectful kicks from Shafir to Layla's back sound very solid, and Layla cries out in pain, and I'm not happy. Dastardly Marina then double fish hooks Gray's mouth, and none of this is honorable at all. It is all quite rude. Also, by the way, no one tell Marina I said any of this, okay? Because somehow I don't think a few oceans would stop her from inquiring about what my problem is. I'd, of course, would reply that she was indeed the ultimate problem, and we'd all laugh, and Marina would put her arm around my shoulders, amused by my quick wit, and then my throat gets tight and the world goes blurry, and for some unknown reason... Must be a weather thing or something. Moving on. Marina throws Layla around a bit more and squishes her up good for a pin, but Layla Gray denies Marina instantly by strongly kicking out at 1. Yeah! Marina gets all judo-y though and brings Layla back down to the mat. Marina tries multiple different ways to pin down Layla, but she keeps kicking out at 1 or 2. Haha! Then, right in front of the ref, who is all like, keep it clean, Marina, while she smothers Gray's mouth with her palm. Right there in front of her. Shafir does that cool, little heel trip of rolling over to create a wow of your opponent, and Layla whips quickly back and down to the mat. In this context, heel is actually heel, not dastardly heel. She is a dastardly heel doing the heel trip. Marina stretches and chokes Layla, just having fun hurting her. Layla is not giving up though and uses her limbs to remove herself from this problematic situation. She finally connects with a kick to Marina's face, but the crazy Fraggle loves it and calls for more. The third one definitely rocks Marina, but she still won't let go of her arm. Layla uses all of the power in her legs to kick out Shafir, but Marina avoids it by cartwheeling and then pump kicks Layla in the gut, and Gray stumbles to the corner. Marina treats Gray's body like a kick and punch bag, and the ref can't do a thing about it. I mean, give the man a cookie. He did actually try, but Marina just started staunching him out. I'd fucking break off too. This bit of cockiness from Marina gives Layla some space to think of a way out of this, and she dodges the incoming kick from Shafir. Muha! Marina's leg goes through the ropes and she slumps into the corner. Marina gets taken by surprise as Layla Gray nails her in the face with a knee. Yeah, gets multiple chops to the chest of Shafir, which in normal situations would be a good idea, but in this one it just seemed to activate Marina's second form, and I worry about Gray as Shafir just like walks straight into the chops. But Layla doesn't get frightened by this Moldovan Terminator bollocks, and she switches tactics by baiting Marina in and catching her with a German suplex, and then twisting her world upside down with a rolling neckbreaker, then sending Marina flying into the corner from a shotgun dropkick. Things change so quickly, though, that within a blink of an eye, Gray is going from celebrating to pain and taking as Shafir yoinks her by the arm, suplexes her to the ground, and then smothers her with mother's milk, which I got to admit to me is an intimidating name to a very effective submission. Crumb! Layla Gray taps, and of course Marina holds it on for that bit longer than she should, proving points and like whatnot, but she will eventually let Layla go. Marina doesn't look happy or satisfied. Impatient and still fired up is how I would describe her after this match. Marina does let the ref lift her arm up in victory. And Layla Gray does, is allowed to get out of the ring on her own accord. So Shafir must have a lot on her mind at this moment. But she could have gone like another 3 fucking rounds, I swear. The sounds of a lazy Lenny Kravitz-like groove comes over the speakers, and that must mean one thing. Ashley Vox is here, people. The fish hook killer herself. We have spoken about Ashley Vox and their Yonder episodes back over there in the field. I used to have a handle on what was in which, but there's beginning to become so many of them that I am now losing track. So I have herded all the episodes into a field. It should look like an ordinary playlist to you, but over here in Don't Call Me Diva Land is a field, and all the episodes get to roam free, intermingling such. So, like, we have a free-range show over here. Diana Perazzo's music hits with dramatic piano notes. We are in the first match of the Ring of Honor Pure Women's Title Tournament. Or so we think. It's all quite exciting. The virtuosa is dropkick. Gorgeous in deep blue. Woo! Her battle gear is perfect, and as fabulous and dramatic as she is, she walks to the ring, dismissing everyone as she goes and sparkling like the night sky as her half skirt billows behind her. Our two wrestlers partake in the traditional handshake of honor, and then hang on a minute. Did I hear that right? So these little sneaky buggers on commentary have been going on about this being the first match in the tournament. But now, all of a sudden, you quickly pull out this isn't a tournament match. This is a pure match. It's the first pure match in Ring of Honor. Not the tournament. No. This isn't the first match of the tournament. No. Sorry, did we misspeak there before? Did we get you a little bit confused? Oh yeah, no. This is just the first pure rules match, okay? Fucking. So erase everything I said about this being the first match of the tournament. I am a sham, a fool. Erase it all from your memory. The rules regarding them are still pure, but the stakes are nothing but pride, which I guess makes sense. The stakes, being something, not just in regards of a champion success, though, but, pride is still there. So what this is, ladies and gentlethems, is the first ever pure match done by women wrestlers in Ring of Honor. Considering what we know now from our past conversations is that women's wrestling has a deep history built in long matches with heavy hits and tight submissions. So it sounds like the pure division is basically made for like women's wrestling history. Do we all remember the 3 outs you get from each rope break? But use them wisely, because once they are gone, no more rope breaks for you, okay? So each person, you can do it once, do it 3 times, but After that, you foot. Vox stands up to Prazzo surprisingly well, both grappling for the upper hand, and I don't think Deanna was expecting such skills from Vox. I wonder if she's even like, I mean, she probably is. She's not silly. Deanna stops playing around and yoinks Ashley's limbs. Deanna twists Vox's arms behind her back and puts pressure on her neck with her knee. Vox screams in pain and stretches out her neck to, she has multiple necks, shit, and breaks the submission. Just as Deanna was starting to enjoy herself, well, she would if she had more necks to squeeze. The two wrestlers start up again, this time quicker, but still countering each other's moves off the top rope. Deanna tries to scoop Vox up, but Vox shimmies around and catches Deanna in the mouth with her fish hook. Wow, that came out quick. It's now Deanna who is screaming, but it doesn't take her long to crush Vox's hand and pull it out of her mouth. The grip on that woman. Vox would put up a tremendous fight against the multi-talented wrestler. A couple of times, Deanna thought she had the pin for sure, but Vox would strongly kick out at 2. Deanna teased her demise with a Fujiwara armbar very close to the ropes, but Vox uses her second rope break and gets out of it. I know it's got to be acknowledged, but announcing every time, like, announcing the dude over the mic, like to the audience, every time someone uses a rope match in a pure match is kind of jarring. Like, it doesn't take me out, but it just kind of be like, what's this guy doing? Is he making an announcement? Oh, he is. Okay. Anyway, Deanna ties Vox up in the ropes now, and Ashley Vox is helpless to get out of. Deanna lines her up and drop kicks her hard to the floor. She has her legs and her arms just all tied up. In bright side though, you are now untangled. Bad side. Now, another sliding drop kick from Deanna sends you catapulting to the barricades. You're getting a few good shots because you, the listener and or watcher, are now playing the part of Ashley Vox, as she comes out to try and damage you some more. A few stiff forearms makes Deanna stumble back, but it won't be long until you are both back in the ring and Deanna Purrazzo decides it is now time to give you a one-way ticket to Paintown. As she takes control of Vox's arm, twists her body, takes her to the mat, and wrenches it into a Fujiwara armbar nowhere near the ropes. Pulling back hard on her arm, Vox gets tilted back a bit and Deanna seizes her other arm, locks in her fingers and pulls her whole body backwards, putting an insane amount of pressure on Vox's everything with her Venus de Milo submission. Vox can only scramble out a verbal tap, and we have ourselves a winner, folks. The pure division is made for Deanna as well, especially. Deanna respectfully releases the hold. See, she's a respectful torturer and takes her bow in front of her adoring fans. She's panting. It was a tough fight from Vox, but Deanna is in special tier. To have held her own, though, as long as she did, it's got to level up Vox at least 1 to 1 1/3 levels. Someone else who has been leveling up is Queen Aminata. She has been watching this match backstage, being casually stunning, and delivers a confident declaration of her ascension through the pure tournament. The one and only calls out Diva again and promises she will be the victor in their battle. We continue on this chunk of women's wrestling with the World Tally Champion, Red Velvet, coming out for her match against Lainey Luck. Red is looking fine with the confidence of a champion in a yellow battle two-piece, blue detailing lined with red sparkles. She whips her hair around expertly and the crowd goes wild. I've never seen a looser neck than on our world television champion. The champion walks right up to Luck, who is already in the ring with her championship held high. And Lainey's like, oh, that looks lovely. I wouldn't mind that. And Red whips it away from her sight, insulted that she even dared to make eye contact with the championship belt. Lady Luck has been wrestling for 9 years and is known as the Lucha Unicorn, which is actually a lot more adorable saying it out loud than it is in my head. Luck is from Kansas and is currently the only Glory Pro Women's World Crown champion, having won it at its birth against Shazza McKenzie in 2024. When you say Shazza, have fun with it. Really lean into the azza of this situation. It's fun. Lainey is in a black and blue battle two-piece with sparkles everywhere they should be. This time, Red doesn't piss about with the handshake bollocks from the last few times. This time, she offers her hand to Luck like she is of royal position. This amuses me, and I like this a lot more better than like the psych. It's a strong start from both wrestlers in more ways than one, as Velvet quickness and Luck's like strength collide. They literally like collide when Lady Luck takes Velvet out with a shoulder barge of doom. Luck keeps up the momentum by running the ropes, but Velvet quickly turns into a speed bump. Lady Luck's like, hold my beer, and scoots down on Red Velvet, yoinks her in a gator roll, and hits her up in a vertical suplex that crashes Red Velvet to the mat. Not done. Lainey kicks up like it was nothing, and the crowd roar with appreciation. This is a start. Red Velvet is draped in the corner, trying to get herself together after that suplex, but Lainey gives her no time and drives a European uppercut straight through Velvet. Red attempts to gain control of the situation, but Lainey has high stamina and strength and is becoming difficult for Velvet to handle right now. She needs to get on the outside and regroup. And after being counted again and hit with a side slam, Velvet rolls herself out of the ring, lickety split, and is like, nope, 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 nobody, nope, nope. She has a plan. She lures Lainey in by turning her back and looking all vulnerable. Lainey falls for it and runs at Velvet for a missile dropkick. Velvet pulls the ring skirt, ooh la la, and traps Lady Luck, making her defenseless against multiple heavy shots Red Velvet lays into her. Red Velvet is extremely happy with herself and goes back to give Luck a double chop to the chest. Luck falls down, and Red Velvet uses her crumpled body to climb back into the ring apron, and she poses like a badass babe that she is in the ring. Red Velvet takes complete control of the situation, and she rains stiff shots down on Luck's head. The ref warns her about using punches because that's a no-no, and Red Velvet takes this opportunity to do her sneaky little distract the ref while I choke my opponent, like with my leg trick. We really need a better name for that, because I even wrote it down and I even said it in a different way then. So we need a name for that. Red Velvet's antagonizing of the crowd is getting them all fired up, and her expressions are fabulous. She is such a dastardly heel. It's beautiful. Lainey is hanging over the middle rope, but it will do nothing for her as Red comes plowing through her with a double knees to the back of the head. Red has more plans for Lainey's head and smashes it into the top turnbuckle with no mercy. Leaning in the corner, Red Velvet suddenly hallucinates and thinks Luck is a punching bag and lays in a few stiff and fuck punches into Luck's abdomen with him more differently a closed fist of doom. Red Velvet snaps out of it, takes her into the other corner where she instantly starts kicking Lainey and booting her in the chest when she collapses to the mat. The ref is counting her out of the corner loudly, so Red stops kicking her as he is asking her to do, and instead plants her foot in Lainey Luck's throat and does a lovely corner split choke, gracing us with a beautiful close-up. The ref has been fooled and he stops counting to tell her how upset he is about it, which does Lainey Luck no good at all. The ref finally goes back to counting and Red Velvet lets her go. Red Velvet sasses out the rowdy crowd, but runs into a forearm from Luck. She's fighting back, people. Lainey Luck flies off the top rope and plows through Velvet with a lariat. A spinning kick cracks Velvet in the thigh. Ooh, viciously. And when Velvet tries to get her control back with a running crossbody, Lainey Luck yoinks her out of the air, hits Velvet onto her shoulders, and quickly snaps Red down for a Death Valley driver. One of the quickest I've seen. Lainey Luck goes for the pin, but Red Velvet kicks out at 2. She's got that high champion stamina. Luck is focused, sets her eyes back on the top rope. All she needs to do is stomp her foot once, and the crowd are instantly behind her, clapping to build up the power. Lainey Luck starts to climb to the ropes, looking out towards the crowd as she does, but she should have been looking at Red Velvet, because as soon as Luck turns her head, she gets a slap in the face hard by Red, like she owes her money. Red brings Luck back down to the mat and lands a brutal-looking spinning kick bazookaed off the top ropes. Red Velvet goes for the pin, but Lainey Luck surprises us all and kicks out at 2. Red Velvet is furious, and Lainey's like tainted by the announce team, because as soon as they say that she is taken out for good, they're all like, oh my God, I can't believe she kicked out. And it's like, yo, shush. With a rolling bulldog face buster looking move that knocks Luck out, and Red gets their 3. The win, and we get a lovely death stare. It was a fabulous match. Red Velvet is getting better and meaner and nastier in the good way. And it's awesome to see. Sign Luck also. She has been an excellent addition to she would be an excellent addition to the roster. She's so freaking talented. Woo! And that, my dear sickos, is the end of our rundown of what's happened in the women's division of AEW. A lot of new stuff is coming. See, if we sign our dear Lainey Luck here, then that would be an influx of her and Tekla. Get Lady Frost, more. She's already on the roster, but Diamante, where's she? We want her. Kira Hogan, where's she? Unless they're on, holiday, that's fine. But where are they? Bring them in back. Who else am I missing? I'm probably missing a few. But then we add, I already said add Tekla to that, but then we're yoinking Dakota Kai, we're yoinking Shayna Baszler. Kind of thinking about yoinking Indy, but she went to like TNA, and it's like, is that different? I don't know. But yeah, we're building up such a good, it's already a good fucking roster. It had a brilliant base, and just with all of this like stuff that's happened and people moving in, and it's just awesome. And speaking of that, friends, I want to move on now and talk about Tekla, AEW's new signing. I humbly apologize, my dear listeners and watchers. I know I have been slack with the look back and such, but it is coming. It is coming this week. Whew, head monkeys, but it is coming. I swear to you, it is coming. I want to move on now and talk about AEW's new signing, Tekla. Let's learn more about her together, huh? She has a cool look, amazing skills, and she is going to be a brilliant addition to the roster. A spider on the hunt. Watch out, Victoria. Was it Victoria who had the spider? Oh, no, she was Winter in TNA with the spider. Oh, what's the spider Winter? Moving on. Tekla is a kick-ass professional wrestler from Vienna, Austria. Her nickname is the Toxic Spider. As a kid, she swam, did martial arts, gymnastics. I don't know why I was going to pronounce that weird. And ballet. Oh, sorry, I was going to pronounce ballet weird instead. Along with learning the violin. When she was about 18, 19, Tekla went to her first wrestling show, and she fell in love with it right then. She has always been a creative person in all of the arts. Tekla learned guitar as a teen and formed a punk rock band called Death Row Groupies. A few years later, Tekla was deep into her studies for her Masters of Finance, but she was still a big-ass wrestling fan. Tekla and all of her friends, I kind of get the vibe this was after like a real like drunken night out. But Tekla and all of her friends decided that yeah, they wanted to be pro wrestlers too, and they were going to get into it. It was just a problem that the next day it was just Tekla who was still keen on the idea, but she went on alone as a wrestler and she trained. Tekla said that her first day of training killed her, but she still wanted to come back the next week and continue her training. She knew this was for her. Tekla debuted in the underground wrestling scene in Austria, which is very niche and a very niche scene altogether. They fight in a cellar where live music is usually played. There is no ropes on the ring, and the wrestlers usually just fight through the crowd. The crowd are wild and also weird in a real good way. And it makes like this whole chaotic scene sound like so much fun. Um, this underground like cellar that's been there for like centuries, and Tekla and a whole bunch of crazy Austrians are fighting through a crowd. Tekla's ring with ropes debut though was in Japan. But even then, there was a twist. The ropes were not normal ropes here, they were chains. Tekla came to Japan like on a holiday, and through her underground promotion in Austria, having a working relationship with an underground promotion in Japan, she would end up having a match while she was over there. Tekla was only 4 matches deep into her debut and on brand for the Toxic Spider. This match was a tag match against two giant dudes, and she was tagging with another giant dude. And she spoke no Japanese, and she almost got completely smushed and broken by this guy. But her quick, like, thinking got her out of it, and she is here today to tell the story. Tekla's name is her own, but it is also a rare name. It has also a connection to a cute little cartoon about a sweet little bee over there. The evil spider in the cartoon is called Tekla, and the kids at school would tease her, or some would even find it cool. So the spider has been with Tekla since a young age, and eventually working its way into her fighting style. She has hyper flexibility, and the knowledge of grappling and submissions gives her a tarantula like way of moving, which is unnerving to watch, but it's also like mesmerizing at the same time. During the whole like sea virus thing, Tekla was in Japan. She was packed up and ready to go at the airport, and then a conversation with one of her besties convinced her to just change her mind. I mean, what could go wrong with just staying in Japan if she could? Tekla went back to the dojo, which was crumb. I'll mention it earlier. It's like ice something. But that's the promotion she was with the dojo at the moment. And she asked them if she could stay longer, and boom, they said yes. Tekla unpacked her stuff and settled into a very immersive training experience, absorbing everything she could to gain perfection in her character and her skills. Tekla also studied the culture and language, so by the time she broke through to the main stage, she knew how to speak Nihongo and how to act in Japanese society. And knowing how to be humble, big big thing of getting good with a Japanese wrestler is to be humble. This decision truly was a massive bonus to Tekla's career in every possible way. Tekla's first breakthrough success was for wrestling promotion Ice Ribbon. Haha! Ice Ribbon is the dojo she was training at, where she wins their Triangle Ribbon Championship. Tekla has been the anti-idol of Joshi wrestling, which sidebar I do find kind of funny because Saya Kamitani, like my girl from Hate, she's actually like an ex-idol as well. I mean, a few of them honestly are, and like we spoke in episode 11, like it's a big part actually of Joshi as well. To have that part of their Joshi life. So it's kind of fun, like having like, someone from the outside being all like, nah, fuck you and your idleness. But moving on. Tekla joined World of Wonder Ring Stardom. World of Wonder Ring Stardom. Why did I say that weird? In 2021, and would debut as an unknown masked assailant with fellow wrestler Mirai. Julia would bring them into her stable, DDM, which is Donna Del Mondo, in 2022. Later that year, Tekla would defeat Mina Shirakawa for the vacant SWA World Championship, earning her first title. I was going to explain what the SWA World Championship is in regard to Stardom, but it basically is this combination of like 5 different countries, I think, working relationship with Stardom. It's like their bout for like all the international hooja. Hooja? You know. Tekla joined the newly created Hate that was put together by Stardom Prez Taro Okada. No relation. Tekla and Momo Watanabe lost their Goddesses of Stardom championships to Hanan and Sayaida in 2024. And in 2025, at the All Star Grand Queendom 2025 event, I don't know, I'm hammering it in that it was this year. Tekla was defeated by Sayaka Kurara and had to join Cosmic Angels because of this. Tekla was like, hell to the effing no about joining all that idol shit, and instead attacked Tora Okada, who fired her on the spot. And now we anxiously await her debut in AEW. Whoo! So there is some spicy relationships going into AEW already, not to mention just the random ruffling of feathers that's going to happen from like a new top like wrestler coming into the division. Woo! Tekla is a very talented painter as well, and her work has been displayed in galleries all over the world. And she has done the art for most of her earlier merch and designs all of her battle gear. Tekla's finishes are a bridging figure 4 neck lock called the Death Trap Choke, Toxic Spider Death Drop, which is a double underhook swinging reverse STO transitioned into a DDT, and a head scissors shoulder lock called the Spider Choke, which sounds nasty. Tekla also does multiple variations of the Murder Lock and a Spider Buster, which is an avalanche hung brainbuster, and the spider web is a spinning head scissors takedown twisted into an octopus stretch. That's the one I thought was going to go long. Her theme was caught in her web by herself and Alexander Martinez, and I wonder if she will be bringing that with her into AEW. I mean, Mina brought hers. It would make sense, but we'll see what happens. It's a banger. And with all that shenanigans, my friends, I am going to end this episode of Don't Call Me Diva. Like I said, I apologize. My rundown of the first women's championship inaugural match will be with us next week. We don't need to go into it too much. This week was a long week. Do you ever have like those days when like your Sundays just turns into like this waffling of nothingness, and you have all your work in front of you and everything's there, and about like 6 hours later you realize that you haven't moved? That was my Sunday. Not productive at all. I humbly apologize. Sumimasen, gomenasai. Baka des. I did have, all of intentions of doing it, but my brain went into airplay mode, so no messages were coming through at all. But I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all coming with me on this crazy ass journey. Thank you for stopping by. Don't Call Me Diva. What are your thoughts on this week's discussion and our new wonderful graphics that have been floating on over here, huh? If you so wish, you can leave them as a comment in the appropriate sections of wherever you are in the world. Let me know of any women's wrestlers or matches you'd like me to talk about. And if you would be so kind as to like and subscribe whilst you're there, I'd be very grateful. You can find moi lurking in the dungeons of threads at Bex_Bastet and under a tree in Blue Sky at Bex-Bastet. Today, I want to shout out Sicko All Elite Wrap Up, co hosted by Sicko Tim. I had a brain fart then because I was like, did I just shout out the wrong name? But I didn't. It's a great yarn and it's a fun watch. Also, check out the latest episode of Sit Down, Shut Up, and Mark Out because they've had a great bunch of interviews recently, and the latest one is with the Filipino fighting rooster, Jake De Leon. Excuse moi. Thank you, Shane. To my excellent producer and creator of this new excitement looking beautifulness, promoter extraordinaire. Go check out some of his work on Ethos Media. Go check out sickosclub.com and Sickos Club on the threads. You've never met a more inclusive, smart, kind, and talented bunch of silly sausages until you hook up with the Sickos. And with that, women's wrestling. Don't be a dick.